This episode is brought to you by Nespresso. Gift magical mornings with Nespresso Virtuo Pop. Compact and stylish, Virtuo Pop is made to meet every morning coffee craving. From espresso to coffee, hot or iced, at the click of a button. And celebrate the season with Nespresso's limited edition coffee flavors. Sweet almond and hibiscus, cinnamon and candied tamarind, and festive double espresso. Magic in the making. Shop the holiday gift collection exclusively at Nespresso.com.
Introducing Oakley Meta Vanguard, the new performance AI glasses designed for athletes. With hands-free capture on an action-ready ultra-wide camera, powerful open-ear speakers, and built-in Meta AI that syncs with your Garmin devices for real-time insights while you train. Take your performance to the next level with Oakley Meta Vanguard. Athletic intelligence is here. Learn more on meta.com.
Toast the holidays in a new way and raise a glass of rum chata. A delicious creamy blend of horchata with rum. Enjoy it over ice or in your coffee. Rum chata, your holiday cocktails just got sweeter. Tap or click the banner for more. Drink responsibly. Caribbean rum with real dairy cream, natural and artificial flavors. Alcohol 13.75% by volume, 27.5 proof. Copyright 2025 Agave Loco Brands, Pewaukee, Wisconsin. All rights reserved.
Hello and welcome to the Paddock and the Pavilion with me, your host, Stephen Wallis. On the 21st of November, the much-anticipated 2025-26 Men's Ashes Series will begin at the Optus Stadium in Perth, before the contest moves on to Brisbane, Adelaide, Melbourne and Sydney. Another classic battle between England and Australia awaits. In this special series of 5 episodes, I've been asking my guests for their thoughts on what we might see over the 5 tests, including former players, journalists, commentators, authors, a painter, a musician, a racehorse trainer, and more. Welcome to part 4 of Who Will Win the Men's Ashes with Stephen Wallis. Hello, Mick. It's not the 100 this time.
That's my expert subject.
Yeah, that was episode 353. But today we're going to talk about the men's Ashes. But firstly, congratulations to Nottinghamshire on winning the county championship for the first time since 2010.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, it's great. It's a great feeling for the club. It's a great feeling for the coaching staff. But I think most importantly, it still seems to be a great feeling for the players. And I think that's really important as we seek to preserve the place of red ball cricket in the world game, that our players feel so excited and proud that they've won the county championship this year.
You were part of the win in 1987.
Yes, this is my 4th involvement. Last time we won it at home was in 1987. So to see it won at Trent Bridge and Hasib Hamid hit the winning runs on Friday was tremendous, and it was nice that there was a decent crowd in. So yeah, as I say, you want that competition to mean a lot, and I can assure people that it still does mean a lot to the players in particular, and it's still the competition that they most want to win.
8th of 10 in 2024. Was it a surprise to win it this year?
I think, well, if I look back on April, we started really, really well. We had a different team. We had overseas player in Fergus O'Neill that started the year, did very well for us. We had Josh Tong fit, hugely important. So I think we were a better team to start the season, and we started the season very well. You know that April and May, if the weather is good, there'll be a lot of positive results around, because that's when the pitches have still got the moisture in from the winter and the spring. And then to come and finish off with 3 wins in a row in September, I think we just shows to people that we bookended the season by playing really well at both ends of it.
And your skipper, Hasib Hamid, over 1,200 runs. Yeah. He's played 10 test matches so far. Do you think he could one day get back in that England side?
I think it's unlikely if the current regime and the current thinking stays, which is fine. I mean, Hasib has to be comfortable with that. I think if there's one thing about Ashes tours they tend to lead to revolution, either in squads or management or domestic structure. Well, domestic structure is not going to be debated for a little while now. So if England don't go well, then there's a possibility for change, and then Hasib's name will come up. But hopefully they do go well, and this current sort of thinking around the team will continue.
Because he's still only young. He's only 28.
Yeah, look, he's a very good player. He's a very good player. I think what you can see at the moment is that county form isn't particularly a guide to international selection at the moment, and that's the way that England have gone. They're taking a very quick bowling attack to Australia. Um, County bowling attacks don't look like that. They don't have 4 or 5 big people bowling 85 mile an hour plus. That's not how county cricket is played, rightly or wrongly. So I think there's a difficult correlation between county runs and international runs at the moment.
Turning to the Ashes then and selection, England selectors always wanted to get this barrage of quick bowlers. They got there in the end.
Yeah, well, they've got there. Let's see what happens because I think we've put our eggs into a basket of fast bowling, like you say. I think there's 5 or 6 that are high quality and high quality pace, and that is what they're going to take Australia on with. So at the moment, they're all fit, I think, and ready to go. But obviously, people like Mark Wood, Jofra Archer haven't played a lot of red ball cricket in the preceding months. So I wouldn't expect England by any means to put the same 11 on the field 5 times. It'll be about how they juggle their resources and get the right bowling attack for each game.
One of those bowlers is Nott's Josh Tongue, who got 21 Test wickets this summer and 54 first-class wickets.
Yeah, look, it's been great for Josh. He obviously 2024 he didn't bowl a ball in any format for any team. So for us to see the return on our investment, but more importantly for him to show that he can be a real serious threat at international level is fantastic. And I know how excited he is about going to Australia. And I know how integral he is to that team. And I think England will use him hopefully wisely over there. They'll want his pace, they'll want his angle from around the wicket potentially. The fact that he bowls a little bit sort of above the perpendicular, so therefore everything looks like it's running in at right-handers, but then he can straighten it up. I think he's got a lot to offer. And as I say, I think a combination of seam bowlers will be used over those 5 tests.
What did you make of the squad as a whole?
Not unexpected. I think England have been very settled in their selection. They know which players they want and what sort of style of cricket they want to play. I suppose Jacks was the only surprise, was slight surprise, but I think, with the exception of Shoaib Bashir, I think it's difficult at the moment to be a spinner if you don't bat in the top 6 or 7. So if England decide to go with Jacks as the spinner, they've got extra batting depth, and I wouldn't be surprised if that team takes the field without Bashir at some point in the series.
Did it bring back memories of being an England selector? You were between 2014 and 2018, some long nights.
Yeah, there were, and I think back to that tour, and I think what we lacked I'm pretty sure we wanted to pick Jamie Overton for 1. Mark Wood wasn't fit for 2, and we ended up with a quite a medium pace bowling attack, and that's probably not the way to take Australia on if there's not much in the pitches in terms of sideways movement, which there wasn't. So we lacked pace in 2017, definitely. We thought we had a good chance with a strong batting group and Moeen Ali as our spinner. But yeah, I mean, picking an England team is a huge honour, and we were actually picking a squad for the Ashes, and it was all very exciting.
And what do you think are the most important things you need to win in Australia? England haven't won there since 2010-11.
Well, I think England are banking all out on pace here, aren't they? In 2010-11, it was a Broad, Anderson, Bresnan and Swan sort of bowling attack. So that didn't have a huge amount of pace, but it had a lot of skill. What England have gone for this time is more pace, more aggression. I think Australia's batting lineup is fragile. I don't see it as a rock solid batting lineup that it's been for a number of years. I think that a lot of talk around opening batters and is Labuschagne going to play and that sort of thing. Only really Smith and Head look particularly established and comfortable to me. So I think England have got a chance to attack that top order with their quick bowling, and I think they'll take that. And it'll be interesting to see, with Perth being the first test instead of the traditional Brisbane, is can England make a big impact in Perth and then go to a day-night test as well? And which I think is in Brisbane's second test. England could be in a strong position.
Yeah, second test is Brisbane is the pink ball test. It's important England start well.
It is important, I think England will want to go into the Christmas and New Year's test in a strong position. And I don't see any reason why not. I look back on previous tours, that one that you mentioned, 17, 18, we were out of it. We were done by Christmas. And the 2 tests after Christmas become a bit of a damp squib from a playing side, although a great event still in Melbourne and Sydney. So England will want to get to Melbourne and Sydney with a chance of winning the Ashes, and I think they will have that because I don't see this Australian team. I think it's as I say, the batting group looks a lot more fragile than it's looked for a number of years. Nothing to be scared of there. And Australia, sorry, will have the issues as they've already got around Cummins' ability to play 5 tests, and what their bowling depth is like compared to England's is probably pretty similar.
Yeah, the Australian bowling attack, Mitchell Starc's 35, Cummins 32, Hazelwood 34, Boland 36, and Nathan Lyon will be 38 when the series starts.
Yeah, much older than England's, very skillful, very experienced, very capable of handling pressure. But interestingly, to see how much they have to change that squad over 5 games, because I think England will rotate their bowling attack, no doubt about that. Wood, Archer definitely won't be playing 5 tests. I can't think of anybody. Maybe Atkinson who might, or Carse who might. But even so, I think that there'll be the opportunities for England to rotate and try and bring in fresh bowlers with high pace, and try and extract bounce and pace out of those wickets.
And with that in mind, who will be selecting the side when they're in Australia? Will it be McCullum, Stokes, and Robert Key, or what?
I would think mainly McCullum and Stokes, really. I mean, I think if I go on previous tours, we used to sit around in a hotel in London in September and send the team off, and captain and coach would sort it out on the day. And I think that's really how it is. I think that's the same in this country, really. For me, we used to pick a 13, and England would then pick an 11 on the day with a captain and a coach who are seeing the conditions and knowing the players and fitness of all the players. So I think you put your trust in the captain and the coach, as it should be. The captain shouldn't go on the field with a player he doesn't want in his team.
And for what you're saying, those two people will really have to assess the fitness of all the bowlers to rotate them around the 5 matches.
Yeah, I think so. Look, there'll be a lot of advisors out there, a lot of staff out there. Science and medicine plays an increasingly bigger role in selection of teams and certainly selection of squads. So I'm sure Rob Key or Luke Wright will be out there for most of the trip as well to give a slightly distant view from the dressing room, which is always helpful. But ultimately, the tour will rest on the success of the tour will rest on 2 people, and that's McCullum and Stokes, and their careers, if you like, will be defined by this tour, I'm sure.
Before I get your prediction, what will a director of cricket be up to during the winter? What roles do you have between now and next April?
Well, I've got a few contracts to sort out for players, which still needs doing. Pre-season tour to organise, next season to organise, a lot of work. I know we don't talk about the 100, but a lot of work on the 100 because of the change of ownership model and the change of selection model and all sorts going on with that. It's going to look a different tournament next year. So there's a lot going on. We've got a new pavilion being built, so there's huge amounts. We've got a new chief exec, so we're a busy club. And I won't be in Australia following the Ashes around, but I'll certainly be watching it on TV.
Yeah, so finally then a prediction for the Ashes. You sound confident.
I am confident because I don't see, as I say, Australia's strength. I don't think there's anything scary about them. So I think England can win over there. Yeah, I don't see many draws. So maybe 3-2 or something like that hopefully to England. I think if the weather's good, I don't see drawn matches. They're a thing of the past in Test match cricket. So I'm certainly thinking this is a good chance for England to get the Ashes back.
My next guest is Peter Moore, Head of Sport at Radio Woking. Thanks for joining me on the Paddock and the Pavilion podcast series. Who will win the men's Ashes, Peter?
Oh, yeah. You've bowled me a googly already, haven't you, Stephen? This is before we've started. It's going to be tight. It always is, isn't it? Let's be honest. I say always is. I really have got a hunch. I hope I'm right. I'll probably fall flat on my face and be totally wrong. I really do feel England can go to Australia. And actually
let's leave your prediction till the end. You've got in there very quickly. Firstly, how will you be covering the men's Ashes on Radio Woking?
Well, I'm going to be doing updates in the sports desk, which we have every morning and evening as well. And over the weekend, we will be. I'll be doing like a roundup of the Ashes as well. And that will be throughout the whole series, Stephen. So we will be delving into it, most definitely.
You must let us know your wavelength for listeners.
I will. Yeah. Well, we're available. It's radio. I mean, we're online. It's radiowoking.co.uk. You can get us on DAB if you live in Woking and Aldershot and surrounding areas. But failing that, go online, radiowoking.co.uk, and you can also get us through Radio Player and various other sources as well.
So there's going to be a few late nights and early mornings for you watching the games on TV.
Yeah, it will be actually. What I'll have to do is I'll have to get an extra box of matches, won't I, to stick in between my eyes, I think, to keep them open actually. But I'm sure it will be worth it, Stephen, one way or the other.
Well, let's hope so. A 5-test series, though, against the Aussies, you can't beat that, can you?
No, you can't. I mean, look, it's the pinnacle, isn't it, of a cricketing. I say cricketing year. Obviously, it's not every year. We know that, but when it comes round, it is the series that everybody looks forward to, doesn't it? Well, you know, if you're in this country, the clamber for tickets, we know, Stephen, is immense, isn't it? And it's the same when you're out in Australia as well. You know, it's difficult. We all know. But it's a series, like I say, that it generates so much interest, isn't it? And I think the other main point in particular, if you're a cricket fan, yes, understandably, it's a series you look forward to, without a doubt. But even if you're a non-cricket fan, the minute the Ashes is mentioned and the minute it starts getting shown and people start reading about the Ashes, don't they? All of a sudden, people start beginning to like the game of cricket.
That certainly happened going back in 2005, didn't it?
It did, yeah, absolutely, yeah, 100%. I mean, yeah, you know, you mentioned that series. Yes, you're quite right, actually. At the time, I know a lot of people who were saying to me about, oh, this is getting quite interesting, this, isn't it? I like this. So, I mean, that's got to be good for the game. And we all know with any sport, Stephen, especially cricket in particular, the more new people we can get, whether they're viewers, whether they're listeners to radio, of course, or more importantly, going physically to see international cricket or even county cricket, remember, as well. It's got to be 100% good for the game, hasn't it?
Definitely. Now, 2 questions to ponder really is, can we get enough runs against their high-class bowling attack, and can our pace attack expose the Aussies' batting frailties?
Again, another excellent question. I think for the first, I'm going to take the second point first, Stephen, if you get my drift. I honestly feel for the first time for a long time, this England squad that they picked is packed with very fast, quick bowlers, i.e., they're going to have the attitude of let's fight fire with fire. Now, I can't remember a series where they've done this for a very, very long time. The plus point is you look at the fast bowling attack, and I think it's better than the Aussies. Presumably, what they are going to send out, I really do. The only small doubt is it's great to have Jofra Archer back. Of course it is. You know, we've got Atkinson, we've got all sorts of fast bowlers. In particular, Mark Wood. But I name Wood and I name Archer, and the only concern I feel, Stephen, is can they keep fit? This is the big worry. If they can keep fit, and remember, as you said earlier, you know, we're talking a 5-test series, and this is intense cricket, isn't it? It's not a question of it's just a straightforward 5-match series. No, this is going to be intense day by day by day. Can they keep fit? If they can keep fit, I generally feel they will give the Australian batting in particular, which, as you said, can be a little bit frail. I think they will give them a hard time. Going back to the first point of the question, will we get enough runs on the ball? Look, I've only got to mention one man, haven't I? Joe Root. Not that I'm saying we're going to rely on Joe Root. Of course we're not. But at the end of the day, you look at the squad they've selected, it oozes runs. It really does. And I feel the good point with this current England squad that will be sent out there very shortly is they're going to bat deep, Stephen. And I think that's important. We can't just keep relying on Root. We can't just keep relying on Harry Brook. We can't keep relying on the likes of Jacob Bethel coming through, Will Jacks, etc. You know, we can't keep relying on those. No, but I do feel the lower order in particular can add runs, and I think that's going to be crucial by far and away. So, to answer both points, yes, I feel as long as the bowlers keep fit. I know I keep harking on about that, but I do think that's a key issue. But I'm pleased for the first time, like I said, in a long while, Stephen, when the squad was announced, I thought, I like the look of this because The only way you're going to win a Test series is give the Aussies what they're giving back to you, isn't it?
Certainly, the way England have won out in Australia, in Australia before, and we can go back to 1932, 33. Not that we can remember that, but
No,
it goes
before
back
my
that
time.
far when pace was the
Yeah.
determining factor. I want to ask you my short yes/no quiz here that I've asked several other of the guests on this podcast series. First question, it's a classic question for you, is will Mark Wood be fit, yes or no?
Oh, you do
You rather
enjoy
fell into that
bowling.
one.
Oh, you did. I did rather fall into it. My heart says yes, but if you want my honest opinion, I've just got this worry with Mark Wood. You know, he is a quality bowler. We all know that, but how many times did he break down? I mean, is he going to be fit? I think it's a big concern. If you want a yes or no, I'm going to plump with no, but I hope I'm wrong.
Number two is Jacob Bethel at number three.
Ooh. No, would be my simple answer to that. I like Jacob Bethel. I think he's come on leaps and bounds. But you've got to remember, this is a very, very important Test series. There's going to be an immense amount of pressure. Can he handle that pressure? So far, he looks as though he can handle pressure, yes. But would you put him in at number three? On a personal note, no. So to answer your question, I would plump with a definite, and I wouldn't even think about it. You can tell by my answer, no.
I don't think you'll get all of these as a no, but the number three, first Test at Perth. Will Australia get less than 300 in their first innings?
Well, I've got a feeling that they're going to start preparing a pretty quick pitch. You could argue the fact that if they do that, it's going to play into England's hands. It's also going to suit the Aussies, of course. Will they get us 100?
300, that is.
300, sorry, 100. No, silly me. Will they get... No.
It's a bold one there. Number four, I think I know what you're going to say to this one. Even though we've had three no's already, number four is, will Joe Root get a century during the Ashes?
Yes, 100%. Double century. Didn't ask me that one. That'd be asking too much. No, seriously, yes, 100% yes.
Number five, a little bit harder for you, but I think quite an important player in the series, if England are going to be successful. Will Zach Crawley get a Test century during the series?
Oh, I'm going to plump with yes. That might surprise you, actually, because I think a lot of people understandably feel that Crawley isn't really the answer as such, but I think he's slowly but surely beginning to get some of his form back. There's going to be, again, immense pressure on opening, of course there is, but no, I really feel that I've got a feeling this might be a series that he's going to blossom with. I hope so, anyhow, Stephen. So I'm going to plump with yes for that one.
He did do well against Australia over here in 2023.
He did, yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. But fair point, actually. Again, he had his doubters then, didn't he? So he's proved them wrong. And no, I just got a feeling, as I said, there's a massive, massive amount of pressure on his shoulders. But I generally feel, he can come away with a century, yeah.
Final question. Will England score over 500 in an innings during the series?
Oh, dear. No. I'd like to say yes. I think if they did, they've got a good chance of winning one of those tests, to be perfectly frank with you. Are we going to have pitches out there that are going to be inclusive to 500 runs? I don't think so, Stephen. So, short answer to that, I hope I'm wrong, obviously, but short answer to that would definitely be no.
Well, thanks for answering those questions. It'll be interesting when I put this series together, what all the answers from different people were. A final question then. This is for England. Who do you think is the most important player for England during the series?
I said him earlier. I know some people might say Joshua Archer. I generally feel Joe Root is the most important. Again, I'm not going down this route of saying, well, we keep relying on Joe Root's runs, but, I think he is an important key player. The reason being is he's proved time and time again consistency level. And, he's got it. I think he's got everything. So I know some people would probably say, and I know you've interviewed a few people already, Stephen, true. I bet a few people might have said Jofra Archer. But no, I'm going down the root factor because, look, at the end of the day, we've got to take wickets. Of course we have. If you want to win a test match, it's fairly obvious you have to take 20 wickets. But you've got to put runs on the board. And Joe Root, I think, is such a key player in any test series, whether it's against Australia or anybody. So, no, I feel on a personal note, he has to be the main person. Yeah.
I heard Simon Hughes on his own podcast, not specifically referring to Joe Root, but talking about the importance of runs and the importance of those runs in the last time we won in Australia in 2010-11, when the likes of Cook, Strauss, Peterson, Trott all scored lots of runs.
Yeah, well, he's spot on, exactly. Because look, at the end of the day, if you're going to bat first or whether you're put in, you've got to be looking at getting at least 300, 350, 400, because then you've got a chance of winning a game, or failing that, you've got a chance of not sort of losing the game as such more than anything. So yeah, I mean, it's imperative, of course it is, to put on runs. And yeah, we're talking Joe Root. It isn't just about him. I mean, we haven't mentioned Ben Stokes yet, have we? I know I've mentioned Harry Brook, true. So yeah, it's important, Stephen. Yeah, you've got to put on runs. And I feel the other big factor is, if we are going to win the Ashes down under, we've got to not fall 1 or 2-0 down early on. If we start doing that, we're in trouble. It's going to be extremely difficult to get any sort of result after getting or losing, say, the first 2 tests. So it's imperative, if we are in a bit of trouble at Perth, come away with a draw. Don't give Australia a 1-0 win, a 1-0 lead earlier on, because they're going to build on that. So, but going back to that question, we've got to put runs on the ball. Simple as that. It's no use getting bowled out for 150, 200 and expecting to win a match, no matter what surface you're on. No.
Before your prediction, then, any final thoughts, any things you've missed out you want to say?
No, I think that's all, really. I think I've covered everything. The only, it's not really a doubt as such, because I've mentioned about this bowling attack that's been stacked with quick bowlers. This is the first time, remember, we've got no Jimmy Anderson. How are England going to face that? It's going to be interesting, because he's been Mr. Reliable, hasn't he? For so many years, even down under as well. But, I mean, that's history now. So, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how England react without Jimmy Anderson. And also, of course, the second test, remember, it's a pink ball, isn't it, at Brisbane. So that's going to be interesting as well. How is that going to pan out also? I think that's going to be quite fascinating.
So, Peter, your prediction for the Ashes?
Well, I think England will win. I'm going to plump for... I'm going to plump for 3-1. I'm going to be really bold. There you go.
Well, it was 3-1 in 2010-11, so...
It was. Yep. So I'm going to plump for the same. Fingers crossed.
Well, thank you very much for joining me on the Paddock and the Pavilion in my series of Who Will Win the Men's Ashes.
My pleasure, Stephen, anytime.
So good, so good, so good.
New markdowns are on at your Nordstrom Rack store. Save even more, up to 70% on dresses, tops, boots, and handbags to give and get.
Because I always find something amazing.
Just so many good brands. I get an extra 5% off with my Nordstrom credit card. Total queen treatment.
Join the Nordy Club at Nordstrom Rack to unlock our best deals. Big gifts, big perks. That's why you rack.
Meet the computer you can talk to. With Copilot on Windows, working, creating, and collaborating is as easy as talking. Got writer's block? Share your screen with Copilot Vision to help spark inspiration. And use Copilot Voice to have a conversation and brainstorm ideas. Or maybe you need some tech help. With Copilot Vision, Copilot sees what you see. Let Copilot talk you through step-by-step guidance so you can master new apps, games, and skills faster. Try now at windows.com/Copilot.
Hello, friends. Guess who? That's right. It is I, the Replacer. Once again, I've been called on so you can play the new Call of Duty, Black Ops 7, with 3 expansive modes, 18 multiplayer maps, and the tastiest zombie gameplay you've ever freaking seen.
Call of Duty, Black Ops 7, available now. Rated M for mature.
Our next guest is Rosa Simkin of Rosa Talks Ball, who spoke to me at length about the Women's ODI World Cup, which begins on the 30th of September. It's now time to talk to Rosa about the men's Ashes. Rosa, are England going to return home with the Ashes urn?
I wish, but I think unfortunately with the current state of the Test team, I'd see it unlikely, but you never know.
Where do you think the series will be won or lost?
England's batting. And also, actually, not just England's batting. I think I'm mightily concerned about England's pace bowling attack at this point in time. There's a lot of question marks. We've had a summer where we've had people coming in and out of the squads. It feels like there's a lot of what if and maybes at the moment.
Who do you think then are the crucial players for the England team?
I mean, Joe Root has to be up there. When the England side are performing, Joe Root is always at the head of that. I think Harry Brook as well is probably up there. Like to see both of them putting on some runs.
Is Joe Root going to get that elusive first century in Australia, Test century?
Hope so. I know he has a bit of a almost curse in Aussie conditions, and you don't need to tell me that Joe Root's a phenomenal player. We all know that Joe Root is an incredible cricketer, and the skill with which he plays the game, I don't think is matched by anyone else in England, and that's a bold claim, but I'd stand by it. So I really hope that he can reach that milestone.
And as a Bears fan, Warwickshire fan, should Jacob Bethel be batting number 3 for England?
Jacob is a very good young cricketer, but he hasn't been playing cricket. And that's one of the fundamentals for youngsters improving. And we speak about it a lot in the women's game with the availability of the players, and it's worse in the men's game. And you'd like to think that, he actually said in an interview that he should have been playing more cricket. I don't know if it's too soon, but I back him. And I hope that he does well out there, but I think the fact he hasn't been playing cricket will disadvantage him.
Amongst all your studies, will you have chance to catch up with some of the action?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. Uni lifestyle, I'll probably be up that time of night anyway, won't I? So you'd like to think I can catch a little bit of the cricket along the way.
I hope Mum and Dad are not listening to this podcast.
No, there's been I have 5 siblings who have all done it before me, so they're very used to the realities of university, and they both work in a university, so they're no stranger to it.
So they know what you might get up to then, yeah.
Oh my, yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. It's part of the experience, isn't it?
Let's get back to the job in hand, though. Finally, a prediction for the 2025-26 men's Ashes.
Now, I'm not going to go as harsh as saying 5-0, which a lot of people are, because things happen in cricket. I'm going to go 4-1 to Australia. Maybe it's also because I'm a little bit damaged from the women's Ashes, but you've got to back the Aussies in this one, I think.
Well, we can't lose 16-0, that's one thing, can we?
Oh, hopefully never again, you'd like to think, in anything ever, especially the men's Ashes.
But we have lost 13 of the last 15 tests in Australia.
I'd say that my prediction's pretty fair then, to be fair. I'm just the one.
Hello, Richard. Thanks for joining me on the Paddock and the Pavilion and for your support of the show.
Oh, it's great to be alongside you again and to have a chat about the up-and-coming Ashes.
Yes, before we talk about the men's Ashes, you were back playing for the England over 60s this summer.
Yeah, it's been a fabulously busy summer for England seniors. I think it's between the Lions and the main team. I think we had 32 fixtures. It was great to see the way the Lions developed, and they took on Australia as well as ourselves in the Grey Ashes. They performed extremely well in those games. We had a 3-0 series win against the West Indies. Then it was the Aussies, and unbelievably that went to the last ball of the 5th ODI, and the game ended up as a tie. And so therefore the series ended up 2-2, but the Aussies retained the Grey Ashes as they had won them last winter down in Australia. So a great series. And then we finished off with a 3-0 series win against the USA. So a busy summer, a successful summer. Growth of senior cricket continues apace.
Sounds like it. Well, what was it like being back in the ranks as a former England over 60s captain?
It was great to be a player, and your relationship with your teammates changes slightly, and as a consequence, thoroughly enjoyed it all.
Did I read somewhere you've now scored more runs for England seniors than anyone else?
I am currently the leading run scorer, but I've got Nick Gaywood and Mel Hussein right on my heels, and I think they're probably going to have longer careers than I am now as I'm moving towards 67. But yeah, they're great players, and good luck to them. Monty Douglas was the first man to get to 1,000. So yeah, it's great to have that title for a while, but hopefully it will be surpassed in the not too distant future.
Well, you still should have that honour by the time this podcast goes out anyway.
Well, yes, as there's no further games.
On another subject then, the men's Ashes, are you excited, confident? You can't wait for the action to start?
I think it's a truly intriguing series ahead of us. It's going to be a really interesting battle, I think. I mean, England, we're going into the series with an awesome pace attack. And I think, with the Archer coming back now, Wood hopefully fit, Potts and Carse and Atkinson, have all proved themselves. I think that's extremely interesting to see how they will go against the Aussie batting. And I think that's the Aussie batting is an interesting one because you've got a side potentially with the Aussies. I mean, they're not selecting until I think it's the end of October, early November. I think they're observing 3 state games before they select. But if you look at the World Test final and the players that were in that squad, I think there's 7 or 8 of them who are 35 plus. Khawaja, I think, is the oldest. I think he'll be nearly 39 when the Ashes take place. So who opens with him will be, I think, an interesting one for the Aussies to look at. Where does Labuschagne fit in matters now? Because his form of recent years or the last 2 years has been extremely ordinary, to say the least. And again, you look at their pace bowlers. they're an awesome attack, aren't they? The Cummins, the Starks of this world, the Hazelwoods, etc., and Boland coming through now. They've got some genuine quality there, but again, a number of them are, coming towards the end of their careers. So I do look at it and think, the Aussies haven't got absolutely a guaranteed settled side. They've got a huge amount of experience. Where's their batting lineup going to be? Is Smith the player he was as well? So if our pace attack can really get at their batting, I think there's some really interesting possibilities there. But then we've got the question mark as well about our batting. How will Duckett and Crawley perform on those potentially fast, bouncier wickets, and starting out in Perth as well, which is renowned for its extra pace and bounce. I think it'll be really interesting to see how they go. It'll be interesting to see how Ollie Pope or Jacob Bethell fit in at number 3.
Yeah, who do you think will be 3 then? Do you think Bethell or Pope?
At the moment, Bethell still hasn't scored a first-class 100. I think he's an outstanding prospect for the future. I think I would still look at Pope as he's the man in possession, and see whether he steps up to the task. If not, give Bethell a go and let's see what he's really about. Because as we know in the past, it's a tough place to tour, and it finds out the inner strengths, the mindsets of players, as well as their cricketing abilities. I think there's a lot in the head that will be played in Australia.
This is really a defining series for Brendan McCullum and Ben Stokes. The project's really all been about, really, winning the Ashes back.
Absolutely. I think, when they took over together, I think that this was their target. And in that sense, they've been able to, as I say, protect the likes of Jofra Archer and Mark Wood. And I think that's great for them. Where will we be with Bashir and I guess Will Jacks? Because I think that, you've got your pace bowlers, but you've also got to have control. And will the Aussies target Jacks and Bashir? And we know the likes of the Travis Heads of this world will have no problems. Cameron Green's having a go at the spinners. So I think that again, that's the project is there, but is it the final, as they would have loved it to be? Is it the final squad that they really, really wanted? So I think there is a question mark about the spinners down in Australia. And apart from Graham Swan, how many of our spinners have done well down in Australia? It'll be tough. It'll be tough for them, I think.
Lots of questions there, Richard. Just one thing. Who do you think's the most important player then for both sides?
Ooh, what a good question. I suspect it is going to be about our batters, and therefore you just sincerely hope that Joe Root continues his amazing form. He's got to be performing at the top of his game, I think, to enable us to truly get the runs, to take the pressure off the likes of Harry Brook, and to allow our middle order to play around him. I think that's a key aspect of things. Will Jamie Smith and Harry Brook absolutely perform in the middle order if Joe Root's not there as the anchor? So I think he's got to be our number one performer. For the Aussies, interesting. I mean, historically we'd have always said Steve Smith, I think, because he has been mercurial for them. He's been their talisman. Is that talisman now Pat Cummins? Probably it is. So yeah, I think Cummins and Root will probably be the two that the series truly hangs around.
Be interesting then if Pat Cummins is fully fit to play all of those 5 Test matches.
Well, exactly that. And I think, again, with him, I think he's going to be 32, 33. Josh Hazlewood, I think, is 35. Mitchell Stark is 37, I think. They're not as quick as they were. Yes, they're more experienced, and yes, they know what they're doing. But I think actually the real venom of their bowling days may be past. And who is going to be their stop bowler as well? If we get away onto things, are they going to be looking at the Websters? Are they going to be looking at the Cameron Greens? Who are they going to be looking for? Nathan Lyon, I'm sure, will be part of the setup as well. But I mean, he's another one, 38, I think he is as well. So yeah, it will be interesting.
Lots to look forward to, and you'll be watching the games on television?
Absolutely. Yeah. Might be a few sleepless nights. But yes, very, very much looking forward to it. As to a prediction, though, I think it's one of those that this time I'd love to be able to say what my heart is telling me. Yes, come on, England. Head, I think it's going to be a lot closer than we think, and I think it will be about momentum. Whichever side gets that momentum in Perth, I think will probably win the series. Perth, we have to be at our number one game for Perth.
Yeah, they say even though the Wacker had the bounce, the new Optus Stadium, the bounce is similar, even steeper. So I heard David Milan say on the radio the other night.
It's going to be quick and bouncy, and that could play into our hands. It could play into the Aussies' hands, but whoever gets momentum, I think it in many ways it's going to be a series about our batters versus their bowlers, I think.
Hello, Denis. Thanks for joining me again on the podcast.
Hi, Steve. Always a pleasure to be here, and thank you for all the good work you've been doing. It's always good to you give us a lot of these stories that you could never get anywhere else in the world. So I hope that those of us that listen keep encouraging you to keep going and bring us all these interesting stories.
Oh, thanks for that, and thanks for your support of the Paddock and the Pavilion. The last time you were on was back in May 24 in an episode with your then captain of Uganda ahead of the T20 World Cup, Brian Masaba.
Yeah, it's been a while, and I think that was a sort of a wonderful experience for all of us, those that are playing and those that are not playing. And it showed, first of all, for the players, the potential of what cricket can do for them, because all of them were able to earn money that they will never get paid by Uganda Cricket Association. So it was a very good experience. And then also that sort of elevated the level of the game in the country for us to be, not so many sports in Uganda qualify for the World Cup. So for us to be among the few that can be able to take Uganda to the World Cup, that gave us a good standing in the sports codes in this country. So we definitely want to, leverage on that and, keep shooting for the stars.
And in that World Cup, you did win one of the group matches.
Yeah, we won against PNG, familiar opponent. Sort of, we had played PNG a couple of times in the past, and coming up against them, I think it was an opportunity for us to pick up our first World Cup win. Not very, very comfortable, but in the end, the guys were able to get over the line, winning by 3 wickets. because we're chasing down a low total, but we lost a couple of wickets very quickly and could have been very bad. But in the end, the captain, Riazat Ali Shah, the captain now, but then Riazat Ali Shah standing up and delivering for the team.
So what's been happening in Ugandan cricket since that T20 World Cup?
I think one of the things, I don't want to call it a bad thing, but normally they say it's a good problem to have. Qualifying for the World Cup sort of set a new standard for the team and expectation as well. Every time the guys are going to a tournament, we're expected to sort of excel. A week ago, when I was supposed to be on the podcast, we were in Zimbabwe at the T20 World Cup qualifiers, trying to follow the team. And unfortunately, it wasn't a successful campaign for us. Finished 5th in that tournament, by the way, given that we had been at the World Cup previously. So Zimbabwe and Namibia going through, which didn't go so well down with the fans as well. Because, like I said, a good problem to have when you sort of state, you benchmark that we are now a World Cup team, but it also gave us a reality check that there are a lot of things that we need to work on, but other teams are also improving as well. So we need to just come back home and then start all over again and probably make sure that we are the 2028 World Cup that will be in New Zealand. And of course, following that unsuccessful campaign, our head coach as well, Abe Sharma, stepping down. So there's been a lot of things happening for now, but I think this is also an opportunity for us to, reset and then try to go for it again.
You think that that can be done, though?
Yeah, of course, most definitely. I think the only way is up. There's no going backwards. The only way is up for us. There'll probably be changes in the team, some guys moving on, and then other young players coming in. So the opportunity for us is that we also have some time before our next qualification campaign. So I hope that I use this opportunity very well to make sure that we get the little things right within this period.
Because qualifying for that T20 World Cup in 2024 must have been a major boost to Ugandan cricket.
Yeah, a huge news. Like I said, apart from rugby, the sevens team and netball, I struggle to remember any other sport that has qualified for the World Cup. So, and for example, netball have made perennial competitors at the World Cup, even the sevens rugby team. So we want to be among those national teams that consistently play at the World Cup. And the opportunity with the T20 is that it comes around every after 2 years. So we need to just keep working for that. Whatever didn't go well in Zimbabwe this time, we just need to work on it and make sure that we're ready when the next qualifiers come around.
And you continue to work as a commentator at world events.
Yeah, it's a very good experience and a good opportunity. It helps you stay, to keep following the game, get to see new players. Recently, I was in Namibia on the women's T20 World Cup qualifiers again, where Zimbabwe and Namibia, the teams that moved on to the global finals. So it was a wonderful opportunity whenever I get a chance.
Let's then focus on the men's Ashes. So what's the interest in England against Australia in Uganda?
I think I'm trying to remember. My first Ashes experience should have been 2005 in 2005 in England. And the thing is that the interest for us is cricket was started in Uganda by church missionaries, and most of them came from the UK. So there are a lot of traditional schools that I went to a cricketing school, and other friends of mine who are especially within my age group. Most of us went to those traditional schools that were started by church missionaries. So a lot of those schools have a strong background, especially when it comes to English cricket, not Australian cricket, but English cricket. So you sort of find that, for example, one of the famous schools, which is called King's College, Buddha, which is a school for kings. They even have their houses named after, some Englishmen. They have England House, they have Australia House. In my school, we had Court House, President's House, Huntington House, all of them that are named after, the missionaries that came to this country. So they have they sort of have strong attachments to England. And you find a lot of there's a sort of a divide. Some of the guys they will lean towards England, and a lot of the guys will lean towards Australia. It's sort of different now that with the T20 culture, so you find a lot of the young players getting very attracted to West Indies and things like that. But those of us who come from the white generation, all of us have an attachment either to England or Australia. Personally, I'm sorry to say this, Steve, but I'm an Australian fan. But I know a friend of mine who's a big Poms fan, and we're always bantering each other about what's happening. But I think our real first experience, that's when sort of cable TV was starting to take root in this country, so we're able to watch a couple of games. Must have been the 2005 Ashes, of course, that ended 2-1 in favor of England. But that is where we all started, the KP show, Shane Warne, Glenn McGrath stepping on a ball, and then the bouncer from Andre Flintoff to Kasperowicz. So that's how sort of the first recent my Ashes experience. But over time, then every year we just look forward to it. And then on the different WhatsApp groups that we have, you would see people always, making predictions and things like that. I think the only thing we struggle with when the Ashes are played in Australia is the timing, because the games are very, very either early in the mornings and things like that. So maybe by the time you get to office, you try and watch a game. It's coming to the end of the day or something like that, and then you just have to follow up with the highlights. When the Ashes are in England, it's perfect timing for us because the game starts in the afternoon, and then you can be able to watch sort of the whole inning. So that's really the challenge most times when the Ashes are in Australia. But I'll tell you that the connection is strong. There's a lot of good followers here. And I'm thinking if the Banyam is looking for some fans, I think they will pick up a couple of them in Uganda.
Because your time difference is not much to us, is it?
No. It's not. We are 2 hours ahead of you, I think.
So it will be on the TV, on cable TV in Uganda?
Yeah. We normally watch it on cable TV. I think we have a distributor in Africa who does that. So like I've mentioned, that since 2005, when cable TV was starting to take root, we've always had an opportunity of watching the Ashes.
How much are you looking forward then to this year's men's Ashes, which start on Friday, the 21st of November?
Looking forward to it because of sort of, I think, if I'm to speak about things to highlight about the Ashes this year, one, Joe Root is gunning for that for Sachin Tendulkar's record, and I think everyone is rooting for him to play as long as possible, so that maybe he can get close or even past that record as well. But also, you feel that Joe Root hasn't scored a century in Australia, so you're thinking he's had such a very good year. Can he be able to do it? Ben Stokes has been a bit injured, but when he comes back, he has always been an X factor. We can't forget what he did with Jack Leach a couple of years ago. So there's many things to look up to. And then, of course, the firepower that England is taking down under. Geoffrey Archer is fit again. And then Mark Wood, hopefully he will be fit. We want to see Mark Wood bowling, those zingers at 160. So you hope that he'll be fit again. But there's sort of a young England bowling attack that's going to tour Australia, which has... and the Australian team is sort of also going through. You feel that this will be the last Ashes series for a lot of guys in that team. So for them, I think this will be sort of you want to make sure that when you're handing over to the next generation of players, you're handing over a very well done job. So there are a lot of things to look forward to. Can Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood, and Mitchell Starc keep the young England boys quiet, who are very good batters? And then does Steve Smith still have the resistance against Geoffrey Archer? Can Usman Khawaja get runs again? He's had a lean patch. Manas is doing well scoring runs. Can he be able to replicate that form in the Ashes? So there's so many things to look at. But you look at the Australian team, very, very experienced. And then a young, very enthusiastic English team with their passball style. Can they go there and bully? Australia? You want to hinge it on what happened between Australia and India, the last series they played, the the Border Gavaskar series, which was really, really very, very entertaining. Some Costas coming onto the scene and things like that. So I think the Border Gavaskar series was a good reminder that Test cricket is not dead, and it's still here for a very, very long time. And then you hope that the Ashes can just elevate can just take Test cricket to another level as well, and then be a constant reminder that you know what, T20 cricket, hold on, you're the third born of this game, so be comfortable in that position for now.
Lots of things you've raised there. Are you confident that England can challenge the Australians?
Yeah. I think in the Ashes, they are very, very. It's very rare for you to remember a game where either side has blown away the other. When Australia was in England the last time, I think they took a 2-0 lead, and then England came from behind and nearly won it in the end. So it's very, very difficult to remember where both teams have blown away each other. And I think that's what you want to see in Test cricket. 5 days of very, very good cricket, good battle between bat and ball. So you hope that we don't want an Ashes series where, it is very one-sided. We want it to be competitive over the 5 days and then probably let the best team win.
I've asked this question to several other people, but who would you say is the most important player in both teams?
Certainly for Australia, it has to be Steve Smith, I think, because down under runs still, even if you have the quickest of bowlers, I think you still win games by outscoring the other team. So scoring runs is going to be very, very important. And for England, Joe Root, certainly, he's the glue in that team. While everyone around him can go out there and play the baseball style, and most times they walk out with the accolades of putting on the show. But it is very, very difficult to leave out Joe Root, especially if he's on song. So I think Joe Root is going to be very important for them to make sure they can anchor the innings. So there are a couple of other guys that I don't know how Jacob Bethel will perform. Is he going to come in and replace Ollie Pope?
Yeah, what do you think? Do you think he should do? Or
I think Ollie Pope does a fine job, but you always be surprised by England, because I think England finds normal very boring. So Jacob Bethel may be the guy with with the X factor. Go out there and number 3 and blow them away without you necessarily thinking about losing your wicket. We saw what Sam Costas did when he was thrown into the deep end against India, and then he was ramping Burma all over the place, which you rarely see in Test cricket, but that sort of rattled India. And then Australia sort of got some control back. So I won't be surprised if he takes the place of Ollie Pope.
You like England's approach, so you like baseball?
I've always wondered why, if you can play that in white ball cricket, why can't it be in red ball cricket, where there are more gaps? Actually, the gaps look more. There are more gaps than than fielders in position. So I like the approach. I think that's the game has to keep evolving in a certain way, and for me, I don't mind it, as long as I think the end to it is going to be results. And I think that's been the criticism for Brandon McCullum and Ben Stokes, that sometimes they've been in positions where they can be able to take control of the game, but then they stick to their ways, and then it doesn't pay off. So it's just sometimes maybe the results, if you compare the results and the means and the results, there hasn't been a very good perfect balance. But sometimes I think that conversation sort of changed the way we see Test cricket. And for me, I like the approach. Sometimes normal can be boring, so I don't mind baseball at all.
Finally, then, your prediction for the 5-Test series.
Steve, I think you want me to be as objective as possible.
Definitely, yeah. And I know you're biased towards the Australians, so we have to. I really need your friend who's an English supporter on the podcast, don't I?
Yeah, definitely. I can let him come on, but I think he's a very, very big Poms fan, because I think he lived in Yorkshire for some time before he came back to Uganda. So he's a big, big fan of England.
But what are you going for?
I'm going to call it 3-2 for Australia.
It's interesting because a lot of people I've spoken to, we're not getting many draws. A lot of people are going to 2-3s and 3-2s, because Ben Stokes, as I always keep saying, doesn't do draws.
Exactly. That's my point as well. I think the only draw in the other Ashes series was heavily influenced by the rain.
The rain, yeah.
Yeah, if it had been dry enough, they were going to blow themselves out. And it was already leaning towards an England win just before the rain came.
And we shouldn't get rain in Australia, so.
No. I don't. In that summer, I highly doubt we shall have any rain.
Well, thank you very much, Denis, for coming back on the Paddock and the Pavilion. Thanks for your prediction, even though it is in the favour of Australia. And the very best of luck to Uganda Cricket, and hopefully you'll get a chance to be at the 2028 T20 World Cup. Seems a long way away at the moment.
Yeah, true. But time moves fast these days.
You are listening to the Paddock and the Pavilion with Stephen Wallis. Don't forget, you can find this show along with our archive of over 300 episodes on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, or on our YouTube channel.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Doug. Here we have the Limu Emu in its natural habitat, helping people customize their car insurance and save hundreds with Liberty Mutual. Fascinating. It's accompanied by his natural ally, Doug.
Limu, is that guy with the binoculars watching us?
Cut the camera. They see us.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Savings vary. Underwritten by Liberty Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates. Excludes Massachusetts.